Brand new week and the trio are complete this morning to kickstart an excellent week of Breakfast Central. Thank you for joining us. We'll be bringing you stories. Interesting updates have happened over the week, not very pleasant news. Some would refer to it as stifling of democracy. But we'll get into the details of that shortly. My name is Olive Emodi.
And I'm NUPENG-Dangote. Welcome to Breakfast Central. It's a brand new week and we're ready to rock and roll. It was a dark weekend in some parts of the country, but a terrible Boko Haram attack in Bama. We'll get into details of that during the course of the program. But sit back, relax. We have what it takes to start your day right here on Breakfast Central.
Well, I'm Joe Hansen, and I'm saying good morning. It feels good to be back here on a Monday morning. For me, I would say it's countdown to the return of the undisputed. There are two. So there's part one and part two, by the way. Okay. Just for the benefit of our viewers who are joining us. Well, the return we're talking about is the return of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Okay. It's countdown to a return.
Oh, yes. And also, and then there's a return in Rivers State.
Of the Rivers State governor, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, which many have pegged to be on the 18th of this month.
In 10 days' time.
September is the month of return.
Yes, September to remember. So we're counting down where the August visitors have left. And they're going back home now.
They left and they're coming back.
Yes, they're coming back. So
even me, I've returned from my abrupt leave.
Oh, I see.
Your sick leave.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. So it's interesting. That's what we're looking forward to. And then, like you mentioned, also over the weekend, it wasn't too good for what many would term Nigeria's growing democracy, where people no longer have the right to gather together.
I mean, it was very shameful what we saw play out, but we'll get into details of that during the course of the show.
Absolutely. But one man has been talking tough. First off, let's welcome our viewers and let them know that you can watch us live. We're streaming on YouTube, so check us out on Facebook as well. And not forgetting to on X. If you're very hands-on with what many call LinkedIn. I met someone LinkedIn. I said, okay. He said, oh, sorry, are you on LinkedIn? I said, wow. I'm talking about LinkedIn
interesting.
Or something. Yeah. You know, he said, oh,
I've heard of,
so what are you doing? I like that. That's a very polite way of correcting someone. Or are you talking about
LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Or when someone says...
I hope he gets the cue, though.
Well, I hope.
Or when someone, those who refer to M-E-M-E as meme.
Meme.
I've experienced that.
I love that meme.
They should set you on Google.
That Google one, you know, I actually have my uncle then. When someone says, oh, I'm going to go, my uncle will say, what did you call it? My uncle is very blunt. He said, what do you call it? It's not Google, it's Google.
Or our Nigerian parents, when they say, what's up?
What's up? Let me check it on what's up.
Let me check on what's up. Okay.
Anyway, Olive.
Let's kickstart the conversations looking at a story that we hinted at, one that many would argue is an affront on democracy. The Nigerian Constitution guarantees freedom of association. And this freedom of association seems to have been truncated. The police have been in the spotlight lately for the wrong reasons. Very recently, it was Nasir El-Rufai who had accused them of sabotaging the ADC's gathering in Kaduna. Like that was not enough. Now, over the course of the weekend, Rhodes-Vivour, the 2023 gubernatorial candidate for the Labour Party in Lagos State, has also now accused the Nigerian police again of being complicit in an attack against him and his team. He, of course, was announcing his official moving or defection, I would say, to the African Democratic Congress, the ADC. They had staged 3 different plans. It would turn out that 2 places, so 2 of their meeting points were attacked, and he blames the Lagos State Police. Let's take a listen, or let's take a look rather.
Accompanying the chairman of Alimosho local government with over 80 policemen, and they sealed the place with Black Maria, Hiloxes, and all of that. We went there to talk to them, went to see the CP to no avail. Now, the day after, they are protecting an APC rally that is going on currently. No problem. We got another venue in a church premises. Our people in a private, secure premises. Our people were there, peaceful, no activity, just waiting for me to come. The chairman of, what's his name, of Agbado Okiodo, Echibadiro, went there with dogs, accompanied by policemen, and have completely destroyed everything there. Today, our plan was to give free healthcare checks to almost 4,000 Alimosho and Alimosho indigenous and Ikeja division residents. That has completely been destroyed. We have a team that was there to help people get jobs, register them, and pair them to profitable jobs that they could have for the youth that are unemployed. That has been destroyed by thugs. And you see these local government chairmen that should be making the inner roads of Alimosho motorable. They are not focused on that. They will leave, they will go on those roads to go and be intimidating people that want to offer Nigerians a better hope and a better future. And people will say this is politics. No.
That is a video of Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour addressing the press. We will bring more videos as the show progresses today. But what he did accuse the Nigerian police of doing is they were being complicit. And in fact, if you watch several other clips that we saw
also
online,
spoke with News Central.
Yes, he spoke with News Central, exactly.
On our news bulletin.
Exactly. And then we had there was a cameraman who you could see was
his cameraman,
who gave an account saying that he's a member of press and hates that he was treated in the way that he was. Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour stated that there were about 20 to 40 policemen who accompanied his thugs. You could see videos of them blocking entrance, saying, you can't enter, order from above. So the question is there really freedom of association as guaranteed by the Constitution? Where did this order from above come from? And the police has said in their response, they've discounted the statement of Gbadebo Rhodes-Vivour, stating that, of course, he didn't make any reporting to any of the police stations. And this, again, I'm asking the same question I asked when the Malam Nasir El-Rufai and Kano ADC incident happened. When there's an accusation against the police, you make a report to the police to investigate itself. And how do you expect that the investigation will be free, fair, and credible, especially because one of the principles of natural justice will be that a party cannot be a judge in its own cause?
Look, it's since the advent of our democracy, we've been, they still call it a nascent democracy, 26 years since 1999, and we've been making little progress here and there. We had a civilian to civilian handover, we've had several, and we've not, I don't think in the history since 1999, we've come this low that there will be a clear and present danger to our democracy, and that we'll have instruments of state being used as political weapons. Because what the police did over the weekend, you can come up with statements and here and there and deny this. It's just to gaslight Nigerians. The evidence is there. We have video evidence. We have people corroborate their stories, and it's just very, very shameful. The Nigerian police force is the Nigerian police force. It's not the APC police force. It's not the APC police force. It's not the PDP. It's not the Labour Party police force. It's the police force for all Nigerians, and they should rise above partisan politics and should be, as a matter of principle, and the Nigerian Police Act, they should be unbiased, and they are there to serve the Nigerian people, regardless of political affiliations and leanings, and to serve and protect. But what happened was that they almost ushered in the thugs. And this is not the first time it happened. Just the same last week in Kaduna State, like you rightly mentioned, we had an attack on the ADC gathering there.
Okay, so it's not a thing of us telling you about what's happened. You can hear from the mouth of the witnesses. Let's take a look at this video.
Or the statement on what happened this past couple of days, and it is disgraceful. It is disgraceful that we're in a country now where A becomes Z, Z becomes A, everything is just turned on its head. We paid for a field, the Lion Field in Alimosho. We notified the police that we intended to gather on the Lion Field in Alimosho. At the beginning of the week, verbal consent, and we have the receipts, the that they received that notification, because we are not supposed to get permission from the Commissioner of Police to gather. That is our constitutional right. All we owe to the police is to notify them that we have an intention to gather. And they are supposed to protect us. This was not a gathering to protest against the government, which we can do if it is our right, because it's our right. This was not a rally to walk to Alimosho that I could say we're going to cause traffic. We're meeting to gather. The police command in that area was notified.
Well, that again was Rhodes-Vivour here on News Central as well, sharing his side of what happened. Beyond that, if you look into the details of the story that was shared and the response of the police, I'm just going to read out the response. The command described his assertions as unfounded and mischievous, stressing that the police remain neutral and non-partisan in their operations, according to a statement signed by the Deputy Police Public Relations Officer, DSP Bababe Olusheyi. The Commissioner of Police had directed the deployment of conventional officers, tactical squads, and police mobile force to Alimosho local government area and other parts of the state strictly to ensure law and order. Now, where did this happen? There were two spots. If you check on X, the tweets of Rhodes-Vivour where he detailed the account, he actually did a fast one on them. He said they had apparently planned for
decoy,
three.
yeah.
There was a decoy because he expected. He said, first of all, he says it's truly disappointing that Lagos APC is abusing the institutions by sealing off the venue where the ADC was scheduled to hold a meeting tomorrow after obtaining the necessary approvals. This is not only an abuse of power, it's a clear attempt to stifle opposition voices in Lagos. We understand that the APC is jittery about the momentum the ADC and obedience in Lagos is building across the state, but deploying state security agencies to frustrate lawful political activities is unacceptable and undemocratic. He goes ahead to say, Lagos belongs to all of us, not a select few, and it's our constitutional right to assemble lawfully. Let it be clear that no amount of intimidation or harassment will stop us from engaging with the people of Lagos. Our movement is powered by the people, and no barricade will or show of force can weaken their resolve for a better Lagos. Hashtag our Lagos. Now, in explaining what happened, on his X account, he says, the thugs came in their numbers, ushered in and backed up by the police, and the state stabbed everyone they could reach. Thankfully, we had secured 3 different venues, knowing we were dealing with bloodthirsty kleptocrats. They destroyed the first and desecrated the second. It didn't matter to them that it was owned by a church. They destroyed speakers and split blood in the temple of the Most High. But that did not deter us. We held our event in Alimosho and declared for the people. We will not cower and will not be intimidated. We are on ground and we will show you who owns this land. Then he wrote something in Yoruba that I don't want to mispronounce. Hashtag our Lagos. This is embarrassing. Honestly,
it's very embarrassing and undemocratic. And this is not the sacrifice that journalists and so many civil society organizations, personalities died for the June 12 struggle, just to end up in the hands of thugs.
I think Nigerians should also be aware that if this trend continues this way, then 2027 election might be one of the most, would say, dangerous that Nigeria would ever have. Because 2023 was basically like a litmus test when people were flogged, you know, at the polling units, and people were blatantly told that who do you want to vote for?
This way,
you're going to vote for this, get out. And people had the effrontery, the rights, the mindset to attack people at the polls, ensuring that they do not, you know, carry out their civil, you know, right or duty or something. And now we're starting to see another thing play out. Now, don't forget the ADC, of course, the former Kaduna State governor. He also was. They also had their own.
And they were attacked by thugs in Kaduna.
Attacked as well, and he didn't mince words. He quickly just went ahead to proclaim and state that the police were culprit because they were just watching. And then there are footage, the videos out there where the police were just watching and allowing the thugs to take the reign and enjoy themselves and do whatever they want to do. The same has equally applied here in Lagos. And the question really is, what is really happening? Is this going to be an easy
and it's
spell?
not one single arrest. In that police statement, you expect them to say, you know, we've arrested a few people we're questioning, we're investigating. It's just
How can
total
they-
denial and gaslighting.
It was a defensive
and it was
statement.
not. It was a defensive statement, and there was no. I mean, it was not a victimless crime. One of the aides, his own sister, that was meant to drive the Gbadebo's sister that was meant to help with the outreach. She was attacked. One of his aides suffered a concussion. They destroyed. These things cost money. Speakers, tents, buses had their windscreens, their windows broken, and not a single arrest was made.
There's something I also need for us to highlight, which is something that we'll see happen. I'm going to read out here something about the command. They said they had clarified that the APC in Alimosho Federal Constituency had duly notified the police about its sensitization exercise on continuous voter registration, which held peacefully at Lion Field, Yanokbaja, on Saturday, the 6th of September, with officers deployed for security. It added that no letter of notification or request for police protection was received from Rhodes-Vivour regarding any political rally in the area on that day. Before this whole incident, there was a video that we tried to play earlier. In that video, you will see part of his press team, his planning committee, saying that they sent a letter to notify the police and that they sent a letter 3 days
the
ago.
Commissioner of Police.
That being said,
went to see
whether or not you notified the police
or not,
for protection.
you're having a meeting.
Yes, this is the video. Whether or not you notify the police for protection, the police has a responsibility to protect every citizen in the country. Every citizen, once there's crime being committed, they should step into the arena and sort it out. It's not a thing of, Shebi, you did not tell me. If you didn't tell me, then
it's not that to let the area boys
and we hear
enjoy
that happen a lot. We hear that happen a lot when they
Even
say
during
they were not
protests.
informed. They were not informed. Do we now have to be licking the ground that the Nigerian police works on for them to jump in and do what they need to do? That's a mindset that thoroughly needs to be corrected.
And then the sort of, you mentioned 2027, the sort of message this sends. I mean, and with the continuous voter exercise is ongoing, and people watching this will be like, is it even worth it to register if we can see the level of intimidation where people are not even, they're not campaigning, they are just coming together to have a simple, peaceful political meeting. But because you think you own the land, you can intimidate and, you know, use violence to threaten opposition. It's very, very, very terrible and doesn't augur well for our democracy. It
certainly needs to be investigated. We'll talk about this in depth as we proceed with the show today. But now let's move on to another interesting story. Omoyele Sowore has allegedly been contacted by the DSS and asked to delete his anti-Tinubu tweet. X actually sent him a message notifying him that they had gotten, they had been contacted by the DSS here, asking that his tweets be removed where he criticized President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and it was officially a video. Now, this is a tweet. He said, "This morning, X, formerly Twitter, officially contacted me about the despicable threat letter they received from the lawless DSS over my tweet on Tinubu. One option I will not be taking is deleting that tweet. Thank you, X." Then he then shares, "Hello, Omoyele Sowore. In the interest of transparency, we are writing to inform you that X has received a request from the Department of State Services regarding your tweets." And they just go ahead to explain the details of it, saying that it claims the following content violates the laws of Nigeria. They haven't taken any action on it, as they strongly believe in defending and respecting the voices of their users. It's their policy to notify the users if they receive a legal request. Now,
we had the letter from the DSS.
No, so this is the letter that from the DSS to X that he copied and pasted below. Now, what is the particular anti-Tinubu tweets that caused an issue? He posted a video, and in that video he said this criminal at official BAT actually went to Brazil to state that there is no more corruption under his regime in Nigeria. What audacity to lie shamelessly. Let's take a look at the video. Just to refresh your memory, a number of us saw this video last week, but let's take a look at the video.
The reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption. We have the governor of Central Bank here. You don't have to know him before you get the foreign exchange that you need. The speculators are out in our currency market. The door is open for businesses.
And there is the video that started the whole controversy. Omoyele Sowore has stated his position firmly that he will not delete the tweets.
Well, I mean, we understand Sowore is a feather rustler, and he likes to be in the spotlight. But I disagree with some of his methods. I mean, if you don't have evidence that the president has been convicted by a competent law of jurisdiction for any crime, you don't have the right to call him criminal. That's defamation, right, in law. So you could have said, you know, I disagree with the president's statement is untrue. You know, he's still president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
And I agree with you.
You need to respect the office of the president. You might disagree with a lot of his policies, and you don't have to agree with what he says. But I mean, coming out to say he's a criminal, if you can't prove it, you can be sued for libel. Yeah.
And I agree with you, Benga, 100%. When I saw the tweet as well for myself, I said, this is taking it too far. But there's nothing wrong in saying that. Oh, you know what? I think the president's statement here maybe lacks this or does not have this, false, cannot be proven, and so on. But using strong remarks and strong words like that, that's why many have equally highlighted the reasons why you have so many netizens online who have become rude, who have become very, they just go ahead and speak anyhow without having some sense of, you know, thoughts, disparity, respect, name them. And I think for this, let's see, DSS had asked for 24 hours in a letter that was equally in circulation. And we're looking at if X will actually do the needful. Will his account be pulled down? Now that's question number one. Or two, will he decide to, eventually delete it, or he wouldn't? But I mean, for us, let's be honest. You do have a president who is a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and truly, even if you do not agree with him, being a public figure, you might as well just state your claims.
Exactly,
and,
the responsibility that comes with your position as a former presidential aspirant. You don't use such languages. And if you want to get arguments, if you're in an argument, you don't, the moment you throw an insult, you've lost it, because you can't control your temperament. You don't have the intellectual ability to make a proper, to stay on the case without resorting to ad hominem and insults.
Yeah.
All right, let's get the reaction of Nigerians to this whole scenario with the DSS and Omoyele Sowore. Oluomo of Derby says the problem with Nigeria's DSS: 1, human rights violations; 2, lack of accountability; 3, political bias; 4, suppression of free speech; 5, disregard for court orders; 6, secretive operations; 7, excessive use of force; 8, intimidation tactics; 9, overstepping its mandate; and 10, poor public trust. Nigerians at home and abroad have lost faith in the DSS. Instead of tackling insecurity and corruption, they waste energy chasing Yele Sowore over a tweet. Meanwhile, the president's claim that corruption is finished is nothing but a lie. Nigeria deserves truth and accountability. So I believe this person said the same thing that Sowore said, just a different and more respectful way. The president's claim that corruption is finished is a total lie. That one you cannot come out and say was an insult. Nobody can ask him to delete that. Oshoma GI says kidnappings and killings ravaging Edo State and the country at large. Reports say not less than 8 NSCDC officers were ambushed and killed barely 24 to 48 hours ago. Really sad story. Another report of a fully loaded new Edo Line passenger bus and a Toyota sedan were also attacked on Benin and Akure Road with all passengers on board kidnapped. This is just but to mention a few of the insecurities thriving in different parts of the country with no solution in sight. Yet, here's DSS writing an epistle to X to chase after a private citizen and ban/deactivate his X account because his tweets were perceived as offensive towards the president. This action further demonstrates that the lives of ordinary Nigerians doesn't matter. I can't imagine the agony and pain inflicted on the families of the slain NSCDC officers in service or those kidnapped. If this is not misplaced priorities, then I don't know what is. When are we going to get this right as a country?
I get his point, but let's also highlight that those incidences took place this weekend. It was sad. Anyway, Grandpa Frank says, imagine CIA or Mossad or KGB coming to tweet that a private citizen abused the president. See what they've turned DSS to, a joke. Well, that's your thought. The state security institutions have all forgotten the oath of office that they took to protect the country from inside and outside terrorists. You didn't take oath to be fighting civilians for the president or politicians. Stop destroying our security agencies. Stop sponsoring tribal bigotry. That's what Prince D says. Chude says the current Nigerian government has been designated a terrorist organization by Canada for human rights violations, election rigging, and breaches of international law. Why should their requests be heeded? Please disregard demands from politicians who impose themselves on us and harm citizens. The government that kills its people is not legitimate. Now, Chude was actually tweeting back at X and telling them to ignore all the information. But those are some of the tweets we're going to take. Just to quickly highlight as well, it's part of our stories while we move away slightly from Moyele Shore's response to the DSS and the back and forth conversation that's going on with X in the center. Truly, one of the tweets there, sad incidences over the weekend. Those who are traveling to Edo State, especially the NSCDC members, ambushed and killed. And of course, one person is still missing.
Let's not also forget 63 people were killed in Borno State.
Borno as well happened this weekend in Bama again. The same Borno State that now the governor, there were footages, the governor had to go back again with the security team and they were combing round trying to ensure that they could, I mean, we could
like
see...
Olive would always say, you know, two things can be right at the same time, because none of these tweets addressed the insults on the president or addressed the main issue. The focus is on DSS's priorities.
But the truth is, exactly, let's be honest, what is the responsibility? Good question. Thank you very much for asking me that question.
That's another thing.
The responsibility of the DSS is sort of equivalent to the US FBI and Secret Service. The DSS is tasked with domestic intelligence, counter-terrorism, VIP protection, safeguarding national security. Their protection of the president relates to his physical, not online reputation.
But they're saying this has the potential to incite people to violence.
Exactly.
I mean, supporters of the president might not like this and they can go to the street or harm Mr. Shore himself.
The special advisor on media and publicity, those are their responsibilities, managing the online reputation of the president, National Orientation Agency, those are the people that should be tasked with this. Yeah. There's so much more that the DSS has to deal with. That, I mean,
that's what some of the tweets have highlighted. And that's not saying
that it's okay to outrightly call the president a criminal.
No.
Which is what
we've already condemned that. We
right?
do not support that. That's not in a saner climate.
Unless you can prove
that's not
that he's been convicted.
And we put it to Shore. I mean, he comes on the show. Yeah, we're also going to put it to him. Hopefully, he joins us. If not today, tomorrow. If he has proof. If you do not have proof, you cannot just go and speak anyhow. I mean, we don't support that. And also, the tweets that we've read, those are expressions that belong to those who actually tweeted that, not that of News Central. But then again, just to quickly mention, too, that it's a sad situation. It was a sad situation this past weekend. So many lives lost again. You know, it's with heavy hearts that we come here every morning, rather than start the morning right with interesting stories, very beautiful things that happened also over the weekend. We're not saying good things didn't happen, but you know, the bad news always dominates the headlines.
Do you know what 63 lives mean?
63.
Do you know when you hear those numbers, it brings us back to the talk of what, again, I always ask this, what is the value of a Nigerian life? We just basically make it about numbers. We don't seem to value these are people's fathers, mothers, siblings, children, loved ones. We just throw out figures, 63 numbers. In a country,
the president is on a working vacation.
And there's no press release. There's no press release concerning
it's automatic. It's almost copy and paste.
There's always a word condemn. Press release and so on.
It's really tiring.
And will state police solve this?
That's another question.
Will state policing solve this?
And how do we stop this cycle of, you know, violence and death? Because it's almost become.
Because I'm looking on Bayo Onanuga's page, and the last thing I'm seeing here, 18 hours ago, President Tinubu congratulates VP Shetiba, Dr. Yabo Masha, others on conferment as fellows of the Nigerian Economic Society.
That's one. Secondly, we've not seen any press release condemning what
That's
happened
what I'm
in
saying.
Lagos.
This is
in Lagos
just
as
all
well.
I'm saying.
talking about
Okay.
also in
Yes,
Lagos,
and that's
where,
the president's spokesperson.
Yeah.
where the thugs attacked a political party in a democratic setting. Because, I mean, ordinarily, they should have been said Nigeria is not bereft of laws. It's just the application. That's where the challenges
I mean,
come
look
from.
at this, just the image that is shown on our screen, the deployment of Nigerian army
Military,
troops. You know, this is after the fact. Could we have fast tactical responsive squads and alarm systems that could go up
Exactly.
when the incidents are happening, so you can apprehend these attackers? Because what we see is, you don't see all this show of force after.
You know, I
the
feel
killings
for
have
the
been
governor.
done. It's really,
I feel
really
for,
sad.
I feel
Yeah.
for the governor of Borno State. I mean, I can imagine how overwhelmed.
And he's done
going
this.
to be.
He's paid this condolence visits so many times.
So many times. He's
in
also
his
gone on the
term-
forefront.
in his time as governor. It's terrible.
It's really sad. Anyway,
Very tough.
it is very, very interesting things. And to wrap wake-up conversations, let's share with you now. Malam Nasir El-Rufai visited a church and addressed the congregation on voting in Owerri. Let's take a look at this video.
Because the governance of our country today is democratic. We elect our leaders. We don't select them. We don't appoint them. So voting is important. Registering to vote is a civic duty. It's not a political imperative. It is a civic duty which, as a citizen, you must take advantage of. Looking at the numbers of the continuous voter registration in Nigeria in the last 2 weeks, the Southeast, including Imo State, of course, are lagging behind the rest of Nigeria. I want to appeal to you, our mothers, our sisters, our daughters that are in this room, to please take this up and get our children that are 16 years and above, who will be 18 years in 2 years and ready to vote, to please go out and register to vote. It is very, very important.
And that is it there. He's addressed the congregation. There have been reactions.
I wonder
of
what
course,
politics
to
and
this.
the church. Yes.
So there are two ways to look at it. There's a camp that believes that the church and the state, this church and
be
politics should be
separated.
completely separate and that they shouldn't intermarry, especially when it comes to politicians being given public platforms in churches to speak. There are others who say that the church is definitely not inseparable from politics because the decisions that the politicians will make will affect these people.
They are part
and
of
the church.
society.
So they are part of the society. I don't think that we can completely, totally separate it. I just think there maybe should be boundaries, right? But
As
I don't
to the
think
conversations that they're
Exactly.
having in church.
So all those ones of people coming to shade their opponents
yes.
on church pulpits.
I mean, this was harmless. It's about voter education. Go out, get your your voters cards and vote. He didn't say vote for my party.
And while I know, because I can see Joe's face, I know you probably don't agree with church being, because I believe that there have been several platforms.
I don't agree with that.
Several churches that have had conversations and platforms, political platforms that encourage very important discourse. I know that one of such is, I'm trying to remember his name, Pastor Kwadwo Yemade, for example. Pastor Kwadwo Yemade has been very, very... The platform. Every year he's done the platform where he champions conversations that are very needed to encourage, to educate the citizenry. And he's not the only one. There are a number of people who have started to catch on to that. So, Kwadwo Yemade of Covenant, why are you doing that, Joe? You don't agree with me?
No, go on.
I mean,
it's your opinion.
The summary of it for me...
I can't stop
The summary
you from
of it
having
for
your
me
opinion.
is, I don't think we can completely separate the church from politics because the decisions that politicians make affect those in the churches. And I would applaud people like Pastor Kwadwo Yemade who use the platform and every other people who give opportunity for these conversations to be had. However, we must then find a fine line.
Yes.
The issue of politicians coming to campaign on pulpits as we are getting to 2027, it should not be allowed because they will try to do that.
Pastors or imams
Telling people who to
directing
vote.
their congregation towards a certain political line or leanings should not be done.
Yeah.
This is the red pen. They want to take this red pen from me. They will not see it. It was said in church. They don't collect the red pen. Collect the green, blue safe.
Away. Are you shading a certain
Let's
governor?
go straight to our top story, red pen on top pulpit.
Okay. But
I mean, in fairness to Joe, how do you regulate what someone is going to say? You are not in their mind. So just the safe thing to do is just don't give them that platform.
So the way to regulate it is
or
when
let
you
the
have
pastor, or what they should do is voter education and sensitizing the people.
Kind of like what
Don't be
I said
partisan.
with the platform, where everybody, it's like a panel session. You can interview that, and if the person says something that is partisan or that is leaning to a certain area, you can come on the stage and say, please, with this countenance, the church does not approve this. You can quickly then make a strong statement. But let's take reactions to what El Rufai has said, and Nigerians are talking about this on X.
Now, Nancy El Rufai says, gratitude. I have had a great time in Owerri. Following 2 days of activities and engagements, Malam Nasir El Rufai has expressed his joy and gratitude for the warmth of his reception in Owerri. He stated that the objective of the trip in deepening engagements for national unity and progress were duly met, noting the positive and welcoming attitude he was accorded everyone. Owerri has been a great visit. We're well received everywhere we went, from religious institutions to engagements with stakeholders, political associates and traditional institutions. There's been a consistent pattern, welcome and openness. I am overwhelmed by the grace and dignity displayed by the institutions and personalities that have received us. It is an exemplary display of a Nigerian citizen being made to feel welcome outside his home area amidst all the attempts at division. The interactive session we held on our first night stands out as well. I appreciate the solidarity displayed by His Excellency Peter Obi, who attended the event despite not feeling well. Owerri has been kind and open, and we have enjoyed the time, and we leave with great memories, says signed by Muyiwa Adeke, media advisor to the former FCT minister, governor of
FCT minister, yeah, you're correct. Anyway, Mwakjuku says finding El Rufai in church wasn't in my bingo card this year. Big ups to the church that hosted him. All right, another one. El Rufai should not be in any church right now. He shouldn't even be in the southeast. And before you talk about Zacchaeus and Jesus, Zacchaeus was repentant. This one, we all know, Shola Hassan has a different view. Man is extremely desperate. Same man known as Body Bag, man, I don't understand, is who the church gave audience to. Thousands died in southern Kaduna during his reign in Kaduna. Okay, that's from Pharaoh. I don't know which Pharaoh, if it's the Egyptian one or the Nigerian one. The leadership of this church is, that's a strong word. Imagine allowing this, and okay, we're done. We're done. Yeah. We're done with the tweets. I mean, everyone could talk. Too many. And these are the things we struggle with, even as journalists, to ensure that.
Yeah, I mean, conversation can be civil. You can, that's the beauty of English language. You could say the most, you could condemn someone without insulting the person. There's language for everything. That's why you have antonyms and synonyms. You don't have to be so crude to, refer to a fellow human being as a creature because of something they did and did not do. I mean, just address the issue and let's move on.
All right. Let's now move on to our top stories this morning on Breakfast Central.
This morning on Breakfast Central, federal government intervenes in NUPENG-Dangote disputes. Northern leaders demand sack of service chiefs in security. I would also be looking at GRV's ADC rally disrupted in Lagos. And also a story of Borno State University vandalism. And remember, we would also bring you the newspaper front pages. Remember, you could call in and share your thoughts with us. This is Breakfast Central kickoff right now.
Welcome back. The federal government has intervened in the brewing industrial dispute between the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the Dangote refinery, urging the union to shelve its planned nationwide strike slated for today, September 8. Minister of Labour and Employment, Mohammed Dangyari, announced Sunday that he has summoned all parties to a conciliation meeting in Abuja.
The intervention aims to diffuse rising tensions over alleged anti-unionization policies at the refinery. In a statement signed by the ministry's head of Information and Public Relations, Patience Onobia, Dingyadi appealed to NUPENG to suspend its planned shutdown of petroleum operations and called on the Nigerian Labour Congress to withdraw the red alert issued in solidarity with oil workers.
Tanker drivers under the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers have threatened to stop fuel loading over the seeming Cold War between them and the management of the Dangote refinery. Well, joining us to shed more light on this development is National Publicity Secretary of IPMAN, Mr. Chinedu Ukadike. Good morning and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Okay, great. So what's really going on? We do hear that the planned, as it were, boycott from NUPENG has indeed been shelved thanks to the intervention of the federal government. Can you confirm to us that there will be no more strike, especially for today?
We got information about the meeting. The Honorable Minister of Labour has invited NUPENG and other stakeholders yesterday evening. And as the National Publicity Secretary, the National President also informed me, they were all ready to attend the meeting and see how the discussions will go. We're also hopeful that NUPENG and other stakeholders like we are will also be in the meeting and shave this withdrawal of service. So for now, I don't know whether they will attend or not, but for independent marketers, will be in the meeting.
Now, what's the position of your organization, IPMAN, Independent Marketers, on the unionization practices that NUPENG, anti-unionization practices that NUPENG members are alleging against the Dangote refinery?
Well, this is all about company policy and the standard practice of NUPENG as a union. You know, it's inherent that NUPENG should try as much as possible, you know, to protect their members. Also remember that we, the independent marketers, we own trucks, and some of those are our trucks. Drivers also belong to NUPENG. So I also believe that this thing has to do with labor issues, and that is why the labor minister have decided to call all the rank and files and stakeholders today in the oil and gas industry to be able to resolve it. I also believe that not preempting the meeting, I also believe that these issues, there are a lot of issues that are more bigger than this. But for us, the independent marketers, I think for the interest of Nigerians, this move by the minister is very, 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 very important, and everybody should treat it as so. I also want to appeal. The National President of IPMAN said we should appeal to NUPENG to be able to join us in this meeting and ensure that we can be able to close ranks and work together to the betterment of Nigerians and the economic stability of the nation.
Now, I want specific answers to where IPMAN stands. Are you standing with labor rights, or you're standing with uninterrupted supply of fuel?
Well, for now, because of this intervention, the national president has also directed that IPMAN should go into the meeting to be able to ensure that there is a level playing ground where the labor position will also be understood, and that of Dangote. Okay. We're able to merge these positions together. We are not condemning, we are not joining. We are trying to see how we can be able to mediate at this particular point in time.
Okay, let's. I want us to get this clear. What role does the DTCDA play here? I mean, what role does it play? And can you share with us, because I remember a few times you've joined us on this program, and we did ask questions such as, I remember asking you if the Dangote trucks would pose a threat especially to the oil and gas industry, looking at NUPENG and the likes. And you did tell us here that no, it wouldn't pose any threat because after all, it's all about making the products available and talking about also the case of healthy competition. But now it doesn't seem that way. It's much more like NUPENG is a bit worried. They've talked about the trucks that have come in, the CNG trucks. They've also highlighted the fact that some of the staff do not want to be NUPENG members. So what's really going on? Could you shed more light on what's really happening? Is it really about the trucks or is it really about the DTCDA?
Well, the most important thing you have to understand here is that NUPENG and his executives, if you look at their write-up, they have also held a meeting with Dangote that was being represented by Dan Tata, and the meeting didn't go well. So it means they are not condemning it, but they are thinking about the procedure. And then NUPENG want to be carried along, also trying to also protect their workers to ensure that there will be a hitch-free operations. In as much as, like I told you earlier on, that the market is being liberalized, everybody can go out about, trying to see what he can be able to do to ensure that he sustains the market. But also have to also look at the other side of the stakeholders, especially with the DAPMAN members, the IPMAN members, the MOMAN members, to be able to carry them along and integrate them in the distribution chain. And that is the major concerns of NUPENG. I don't think that this problem can be solved. It is for both, parties to be able to close ranks together and be able to sort out their differences. Because I know that NUPENG has also, and NATO, especially NATO, has also marshaled out principles and procedures in which those trusts can be able to operate. That is a conformation with their own rules and laws in terms of freedom of association and all the rest of them. And critically, Dangote is also looking at that. So it is very important now that the Labour Minister will have to come in with some of the experts to be able to look at these tiny lines and see how it can be raised. And Nigerians will continue to enjoy uninterrupted supply of petroleum products.
Now, just to confirm, first of all, we do hope that this matter is resolved amicably and that Labour, NUPENG and Dangote, everybody comes out feeling adequately satisfied. But should that not be the case, how will IPMAN respond?
We're hopeful. I don't want to preempt the position of IPMAN now because we also have to have a meeting this morning by 11 o'clock. We are very, very hopeful that the minister is capable of resolving this matter. But thereafter that meeting, IPMAN will come out with a more defined position for now.
Okay, so as not to preempt you, but you definitely have a picture of what you would like an ideal situation to be. Now, how can Dangote Refinery balance its business interest and also its workers' rights to organize? What's a win-win situation for all the stakeholders?
Well, for Dangote, he's an astute businessman. We are all supportive of the refinery. Like I said earlier on in this studio, this is one of the best things that has happened to Nigerians. Then the other issues are issues of the policy of the trucks and other stakeholders that are in the business who has also investment, that have been established for a very period of time. And these investments are billions of investments like the tank farms that are all over the coastal areas. They also want to get involved in this business as a refiner. And I know that Dangote has the capacity to be able to include all these people and ensure that it becomes a win-win situation for all the stakeholders. So I also don't want to preempt, like I said before, I don't want to preempt this meeting because these are the issues that will lay bed in the meeting. And once we come out from this meeting, I will also be able to tell you categorically the stance of all the stakeholders and what will resolve in that meeting, because whatever I will say now might prejudice the meeting.
All right, because we know that there's really little or nothing that we can do now until this meeting happens and we get feedback from, all the parties involved. But just to clarify, is it typically okay for these workers to be asked not to sign, not to be a part of this unionism. Many have argued that it's against the constitutional provisions of Nigeria's Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So is it typically okay for business owners to insist that they be the ones to provide the unions that their staff will be a part of?
Yeah, this is a pure constitutional matter. I also read what the SN Farana also said. I condemned it in totality because of both the African Charter and the United Nations labor laws, that you have to have freedom of movement, freedom of association, and it's a very, very fundamental matter. And it is there. It is static. It's not something somebody can be able to. So I also believe that this meeting will be able to throw more lights on Dangote, to be able to rescind some of those procedures for these new drivers, and also make sure that his policies are more liberalized and more constitutionally, inclined. So not to go against the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and that of that African Charter. So if you listen to Falana, he make a very, very elaborate explanations about all this. But I still also want to state here, categorically clear, is that sometimes when a man owns a business, he wants to modernize it. But he might not understand that some of these things are infringing on the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And as NUPENG, they have the right to protect their workers. They have the right to protect some of the drivers who has also complained to them that this is the condition in which they're being given to do this job. So it is for Dangote to look at it. This is not going to cause a very big problem. It is a thin line, like I said, and I know the Minister of Labour will be able to express this thing. I also believe that in this meeting, both NIA, both IG, both DSS, and some other people from the Ministry of Justice will also be there to be able to interpret this and ensure that we'll have a amicable resolution. It is a constitutional matter, and I believe that it needs a legal interpretation for them to understand the effects of what they are trying to do.
All right. Anyway, thank you so much for speaking with us, Mr. Okadike, and we would look forward to hear from you, and hopefully we'll also have a member of NUPENG speak with us after the meeting is held at 11 this morning. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Anyway, we wait for that meeting to be held, and then definitely we'll bring to you updates here on News Central so that you can get to know what the decisions are, especially from the part of Dangote Refinery, NUPENG, and not forgetting to Nigerians, as it were, finding out where they stand, if there's going to be a strike or the industrial action will indeed be shelved. Although we hear that it's partly shelved, while we also hear that some parts of NUPENG are saying they will go ahead. But away from that story, let's tell you another one, this time a sad one. Tragedy struck at Borno State University in northeast Nigeria, where a man was electrocuted while allegedly tampering with an electricity transformer on campus. Eyewitnesses say the incident was discovered early Sunday when residents and campus security personnel noticed a lifeless body dangling from the transformer. Well, we must also warn you that some information or incidences you find in this report could be disturbing based on being a breakfast show. But News Central's Barukirawa covers this report. Take a look.
The unidentified man's body was found at the transformer on the university premises. Eyewitnesses described the incident as horrifying, while police began preliminary investigations after coordinating with the university authorities and other relevant agencies.
We are still yet to identify the persons, but it's within the range of between 40s to 50 years of age. We attempted to vandalize the transformer we have behind us there. But during the course, he got electrocuted, where he unfortunately lost his life. What we are trying to do right now is to see that we're able to evacuate the body and take it to the mortuary. Thereafter, then we'll find a medical examiner to do further examinations. We have our forensic experts who are also on ground to see that we gather every available evidence that we have to investigate the matter.
We are very shocked. Some of us can't even go there to see what happened. because we are very surprised that this morning we had information that some incident happened in the transformer. We are very shocked, honestly, and we don't find it very likely.
It's better to do hard labor than to come to steal. It's better for your life and for any other. For example, if somebody call your family and say that, come and pick your child, it's already dead because of stealing, you feel bad. But it's better to go and look for work than to come and steal. And also, we are looking for what happened, what is the reason. And then we think that is our student. When we come, then we see that the person is not our student. It's just one person that is wearing his clothes different, because we don't have time to see his face.
The university management, led by Vice Chancellor Professor Babagana Guti, has called for calm while investigations continue to determine the circumstances surrounding the tragedy. Police officials also held a brief session with students and residents to emphasize safety and caution.
We are calling on criminal elements to shift away from any of their clandestine intentions, not to vandalize his properties, because this one attempted to vandalize it and it resulted to the loss of his life.
The incident serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of tampering with electrical installations and the importance of campus safety. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umar Kirawa.
That's really a sad story to kickstart the week with. We do hope that we'll get some more investigations into that and that we can learn a lesson or two from that. It's just unfortunate the way the story ended. Stakeholders are calling for a complete overhaul of Nigeria's electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. This was during a dialogue on the National Action Plan for Electoral Reforms organized by the Abuja School of Social and Political Thought. They urged the federal government to revisit the Justice Wire's report on electoral reforms and review the appointment process for the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
Abuja School proposes our response is in twofold. That clearly it would be a great idea to have that power taken from the president and given to a more collegiate or institutionalized like the NJC. But we, Abuja School, being a school, is conscious of realism that may not happen. And so we have proposed an alternative in this report that says, even if that power remains with the president, the appointing clause in the Constitution and the Electoral Act should change.
We have seen a disturbing rise in the practice of cross-carpeting elected officials defecting from the parties under which they were elected, often without ideological justification or accountability to the electorate. To remedy this, we should strongly consider the establishment of an independent office of the Registrar of Political Parties charged with regulating party operations, promoting internal democracy, and enforcing party discipline.
So from biometrics to card reader, now to beavers, and then to what? Real-time uploading of results. That's at the technical level some incremental progress made. That means what you need is far more than this nature of reform to further tighten the noose around the neck of those who want to steal the votes. Internal process, because election is of two environments: the internal environment, which INEC controls, and the external environment, parties, civic groups, voters, monitoring elements, etc., etc.
And that's not a call made just by these people. It's a call that the whole of the nation has been making for the longest time, especially from the result of the 2023 elections. We've seen those who are calling for an overhaul of INEC, a reform of INEC, because if you're looking for an election that is free, fair, credible, the journey starts with INEC. INEC is the body that oversees elections in Nigeria, the electoral umpire. So that overhauling would first of all start from INEC, and then it spreads out to different people. So while we're having the reforms of INEC and the electoral laws, we're also then looking at the judiciary that will be the one to adjudicate on post-election matters. The police, the law enforcement agencies, who will ensure the peace during the election. So it's a community effort, really. Generally, people who have, who are involved in these, in ensuring that we guarantee safety and security of elections.
It's not just an INEC issue. I'm happy you mentioned the stakeholders. Yesterday, I was reading an op-ed by the former head of the Nigerian Human Rights Agency, Professor Chidi Odinkalu. The op-ed was titled Department of Judges' Welfare, and he went on to highlight the magnanimity of governors, and the FCT minister almost seems to be the one in charge of judges' welfare, doling out one sort of SUV or the other, and different people coming out to say, this governor saying it's for judges' welfare, and he went on to highlight that, look, this is, it sets a bad template for our democracy, because who pays the piper dictates the tune. So we need to make the institutions that should be neutral, truly neutral. And how do you do that? It's by giving them financial autonomy. So we have to find a way, and I'm glad that the guys in Abuja, this initiative, having a discourse on how to make INEC truly independent. The I in INEC stands for independent, but it seems it's only independent on paper. The president shouldn't have the powers to appoint the head of INEC. We also need to look at different reforms across the spectrum: law enforcement, the judges, the judiciary, and also INEC holistically, and also Nigerians, the way they conduct themselves.
I completely agree with you, Benga. I mean, just before we go on the break, if you recall that few months to the 2023 elections, you did have the INEC boss who had come out to say this would be the very first electronically driven election that Nigerians would experience, especially the electorate, where BVAS was highlighted, ensuring the interpretation of the results as well would be highlighted in terms of it will be transmitted. And all of these things were being put in place. However, Nigerians, I would say they had their hopes and trusts dashed to the barest minimum they've never seen before, experienced before. And having that happen to Nigerians has given them some sense of responsibility to note that, listen, it seems pretty much that we've been taken for a ride. If you go to the portal and you see some of the sheets, the result election sheets that were being posted, you yourself, as a human being, you would be shocked that these processes, this collation and everything, didn't in any way prove.
Pair of keto slippers.
Keto slipper, people were taking pictures, even putting it out there on the IRF. But then again, let's even talk about the cancellation. Let's talk about the polling units, the results, the forms, the ECA, and
under-deliver, right.
Exactly. So this has led to Nigerians waking up and saying, listen, we do have one of our guests who's been here, Peter Aka, who has been driving the push for
the reform INEC.
He's gone to the house. Aside from that, he was in Ghana recently over the weekend, and it shocks you to note that a country like Ghana had its own elections, and it was transmitted. Everything was clear. It was done in the glaring eyes of the Ghanaians who saw it, and even before the elections rounded up, I remember we're doing a live coverage of it. The incumbent, and everybody just said, listen, we agree, you've won. They considered defeat.
And it wasn't a public holiday.
It wasn't a public holiday
We need to take into consideration what do we need to ensure that Nigerians feel like the election is free, fair, and credible. Because until we get to a point where Nigerians can trust in the electoral system, it would deeply affect governance. There would always be the back and forth and second guessing, doubting, and the criticism will not stop. So INEC has to do an inward review. Let's share with you a recap of the conversations we've had, and then we can share with you what's coming up next. This morning on Breakfast Central, federal government intervenes in NUPENG-Dangote dispute. Someone's reconciliation meeting is happening this morning, and we'll bring you an update much later. Man electrocuted on campus transformer in Borno State University. Stakeholders call for overhaul of INEC in electoral reform outcry. And that's all that we've had so far this morning, but now let's share with you what's coming up next. Coming up next in Breakfast Central, Northern leaders slam President Tinubu, demand sack of security chiefs, cabinet overhaul. Violence erupts as police allegedly seals GRV's defection venue. Urobo leaders to protect interests of host communities in PIA benefits.
Welcome back to Breakfast Central. Now let's tell you that the enacted Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, aims to boost the competitiveness of the oil and gas sector, foster economic prosperity and align Nigeria's petroleum industry with global best practices. However, it appears the Act's benefits are not translating to tangible improvements at the local level, prompting host communities in the Niger Delta region to urge the federal government to prevail upon multinational oil companies to fulfill their corporate social responsibilities and contribute meaningfully to their host communities. Our correspondent Austin Azu gives us this report.
The Petroleum Industry Act of Nigeria was signed into law by late President Muhammadu Buhari, aimed at restructuring the Nigeria petroleum industry, promoting transparency, enhancing governance and stimulating investment. But many host communities in the Niger Delta region have staged protests against these multinationals due to alleged neglect. Against this backdrop, the Council of Traditional Rulers of Urhobo Nation in Delta State deemed it fit to inaugurate the Urhobo Palace Representative Pressure Group on oil and gas to engage with oil companies to fulfill their social corporate responsibilities to their host communities.
Before the PIA, we are getting crumbs. But the PIA removed the crumbs from the traditional institutions. Even what we call it, those days they call a parted community. The PIA removed them, they don't recognize them.
This meeting is called principally to first thank the federal government for putting in place the PIA. And secondly, to openly complain that the PIA that we thought was a saving grace is even a worse situation. Urhobo Nation, with well over 28 flow stations and over 600 oil wells, and the largest gas plant in Black Sahara, Africa, we desire more attention than we are seeing today.
The group promised to engage the companies and attract the necessary developments to the people at the grassroots level.
3% stake to communities. The release of these funds, nobody knows the parameters at which, or by which, if you like, these companies are defraying it.
There is dichotomy between the community and the oil company. So the royal father, in their own wisdom, bring us together so we can interface and bridge the gap. So there will be peace in our land and there will be job opportunity in our land.
Experts insist that the Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Council and other regulatory agencies must ensure effective implementation of the PIA's host community development provisions. In Delta for News Central, Austin Azu.
Very interesting conversation there. It's been a long time coming. It's been back and forth, especially beneficiaries and the importance of support for Nigerian communities, especially the host communities where you have the oil and gas sectors being established, the businesses, the companies as well. But that's a conversation for another time. Let's move on now to the insecurity that we saw over the weekend, especially the one that took place in Edo State, and not forgetting to in Borno State as well. 2 in Edo State, highly mentioned, the NSCDC one, where NSCDC members were killed, 8 of them, and there was an abduction of a Chinese national who hasn't been, we're waiting for updates to know if the police have been able to rescue him, but the others were rescued. We heard they were also hurt and they've been taken to undisclosed hospitals. However, while that was going on, there was also another video that circulated that showed a transportation vehicle where people, or you could say commuters, or you could say those who boarded the vehicle en route to Edo State were all equally kidnapped. But we do hear that the police were able to carry out an effective combat with the kidnappers and were able to rescue them. So it's been a weekend of insecurity, especially in Edo State. While we're having that, we also hear that the army were successful in battling with the insurgents someplace far north. While that was going on, Borno State also came into the picture as well.
So it's one thing to, I mean, the security operators have their jobs really cut out for them. And that's why earlier during Breakfast Central, the tweets we saw, they said, look, it's not like Nigeria is a land that is filled with milk and honey like Switzerland, that the DSS doesn't have anything to do than to start looking at personal insults against the president. That just look at the incidents you've mentioned in the course of 48 hours. We also need to look at the economic side to this crime, because if you have a large percentage of your population, youthful population, not gainfully employed, it's automatic that they would look into going into the line of crime. And that's what is fueling this insurgency and rise in insecurity, because we have an army of youths that are not gainfully employed and will fall the way of crime. So in dealing with this, we also need to look at the non-kinetic means, because when you talk of insecurity, most people think, oh, the army should just go and shoot. You can't shoot your way out of the problem. We also need to look at the economic side to it. We need to make sure that the enabling environment is there for businesses and SMEs to thrive. But what we're seeing recently is, just taxation. They're squeezing the hell out of ordinary businesses. The SMEs are the backbone of the Nigerian economy, and regular people you talk to, they'll tell you that costs are going up, businesses struggling to survive and to even pay salaries. So the government needs to do something about it, because there are security implications when the economy is suffering and people and business isn't thriving or expanding.
That's true. But let's take a look at what the governor of Borno State had to say concerning the recent attack. Let's take a look at what he said.
The civilian casualties are more, close to about 60 civilian. Only 5 army personnel were lost as at now. To take note that the numerical strength of the Nigerian army is not enough to contain the situation.
Eto mu abunda muke bukata security, mun samu security shikenan, dama ko ina security ne damuwa, amma mun samu security shikenan, amma ba wai kamar na yanzu na sun yi pam kuma su gudu su bar mu.
Kashiyan doi luyan doi sai so san da luyan jin magayo cina da zakono sa cina zaksiye jin magayo sa da jin motapsa kawai boko harami suna biya cina kanima kwayeje cina kanima kwayeje.
Very sad situation. I think it's going to be a continuous one, but the good thing is the governor said that they are on top of the situation. Hopefully no more lives will be lost. Well, let's still stay in the northern region and tell you that the Northern Ethnic Nationality Forum, representing leaders across 19 states, is actually demanding the immediate sack of all service chiefs and a complete cabinet overhaul. Now, they've described the situation in the north as a full-blown catastrophe, with banditry, terrorism and kidnapping crippling farming, commerce and transport, just like you saw in the video we just played recently from Borno State, and they're not mincing words.
In a strongly worded statement issued Sunday in Abuja and signed by its convener, the forum said that it had deeply examined the painful conditions of the people of northern Nigeria and the nation at large, and after wide consultations, resolved to demand urgent and transformative action.
This comes in after media reports reveal 102 people were killed in a bloody weekend in Nigeria. A series of violent incidents reported in Borno. So reacted to this development is the convener of the Northern Ethnic Nationality Forum, NEV, Mr. Dominic Alancha. One welcome to you and thanks for joining us at Breakfast Central this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Now let's get straight to it. You've called for the immediate dismissal of the service chiefs who have been in office for less than 2 years. What specific failures are you pointing to, and how do you measure their performance?
Well, thank you very much. You will agree with me that the situation in the North, like we rightly said in our press release, that is a full-blown, catastrophe where our livelihood, is being snatched away, taken away from us. And it seems there is no solution to it. In fact, some few weeks back, was trending, allegedly that the chief of defense staff was calling on Nigerians, to defend themselves. For us, this is unacceptable, because how can we defend ourselves when we don't have the necessary weapon, when it is illegal in a country to possess a weapon to defend yourself? And you see, at the inception of this administration, they started well on a footnote. In terms of security, we saw a lot of, efforts, initiatives, mitigate, the security crisis. But all of a sudden, it's, resurfaced, and Nigerians are crying. We are crying, especially in the North. And if you look at it, the budgets, the necessary resources for them to operate conveniently and meet this situation on board has been made available. Security for defense alone was about 3.25, trillion naira, accounting for about 12%, or 12.5% of the total budget. In 2024, it was 4.91, almost 5 trillion. All of these resources, we don't see the military, acquiring, technological, weapons that will help them in fighting, the insecurity we face in this nation, especially in the North. So we are very, very concerned about this situation. The situation is putting it and is making it look as if the service chiefs do not really know what to nip this on board. That is why we are calling on Mr. President, in the interest of the nation, to sack them and then declare a state of emergency in the North, where there will be a concerted effort to arrest the situation, where there will be coordinated mobilization of resources to deploy into fight banditry, terrorism, kidnapping, henchman activity in the North. So we are calling for their removal, not on a selfish reason, but for the sake of national security. In other clans, there cannot be a clan where over 200 persons were massacred in Benue and the service chiefs still retain their office. In Katsina, just recently, worshippers were worshiping their God in the mosque. They went and opened fire on them and killed them. The complaint cut across. You could see what the Zamfara state governor was lamenting on television the other day, how he is helpless. Governors are portraying themselves as helpless people. If the governors can say they are helpless, how about an ordinary Nigerian like me and you? Who are we going to cry to? The president has been elected to protect citizens, our properties, our lives. He needs to take proactive measures more in doing that. And one of the proactive measures that we have come to conclusion for the president to do is to relieve the service chief and look in, appoint people with competence, appoint people with capacity, to man the security, sector, if you so to say. There is a need for re-engineering, to the architectural structure, of the security agencies. These guys are not working. Today, if you go around Abuja and other cities, Port Harcourt, Lagos, most of these military men are the ones owning estate. Most of these military men are the ones owning, industries now. Where are they making their money from? It's as if this insecurity is paying them more than securing the country. We call on the president to do the right thing, to do the needful, and also declare a state of emergency. And by this, we are not saying that there is need for militarization of the North. This is not to say to militarize. If there can be state of emergency in Port Harcourt, I don't see in River State for, the reasons they advance as, threat to national security, because some, agreed Ijoyu bomb, national asset. I think the life of every Nigerian is more sacrosanct. The lives of every Nigerian valued, than, just a fight. So for us, a state of emergency in the North will address the security situation. A state of emergency on security in the North will meet the security situation on board.
Are you there with us? Or it would seem that that has frozen, unfortunately. We're looking at the state of insecurity in the North. They've asked that the service chiefs be fired and that the state of emergency be declared in northern Nigeria. They've made a comparison to what's prevalent in River State, saying that River State was not as much of a hotbed as the North is, yet a state of emergency was declared in River State. And they're wondering why all that energy is not channeled into River State. All right, our guest is back. There are those who argue that sacking the service chiefs will sort of destabilize things, as it's just all of a sudden it could destabilize operations. How do you respond to those who think that maybe they should be given a little more time to be able to carry out whatever plans they've set in motion?
Well, I think we are in the midtime of this administration, 2 years down the line. And the president appointed these people. Immediately he took over, he was sworn in, as the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, And so for them to be giving us excuses, or for people to be demanding that they should be given time, I think it is not reasonable for people to begin to do. 2 years is enough to have proven their capacity. 2 years is enough to have shown, commitment to the security of this nation. And you see, we are not only calling for only the service chiefs to be released. We are also asking Mr. President to reshuffle his cabinet. Look at the Minister of Defense, the 2 ministers of defense, that are even from the northern region. What are they doing? Their state even is in crisis, more crisis in the northern part than any part of the country. So what we are saying is reshuffle your cabinet, reject the security, the security, sack the service chiefs because they lack competence. The same competence that the service chiefs lack, the ministers that are serving you, they also lack it. And if you think you are retaining them because you want to win election, most of these ministers do not have the political clout, the political strength to deliver their unit. A lot of them contested, for example, the state minister for defense, Matawale, contested governor in his state and he failed. Some of them contested election in the past and they failed. So how can we depend on them to deliver you in 2027? Whereas there are more people with competence and capacity, with the political strength. These people do not even have thought with their base, which is their work, their unit. There is no touch in the grassroots with these people. So for us, we want to help the president. We want to see the president win.
I guess I was going to ask him if about the current chief of army staff, General Oluyede, who took over after the immediate past chief of army staff, who unfortunately lost his life, General Taoreed Lagbaja. Because it's going to be 1 year in October. If he should also be relieved of his appointment, as he's suggesting, because he says 2 years is enough. But he's only been in office for year. Do we have our guest back online? Oh, yes. So I was going to ask you if the current Chief of Army Staff, General Oluyede, should also be relieved of his appointment, because you said they've had 2 years. If you recall, he's only been in office since October 2024, after succeeding his predecessor, General T.A. Lagbaja. He's not had 2 years.
Well, it's not about 2 years. It's about, government is a continuum. So you see, if today people are blaming APC, blaming Tinubu for some of the decisions that Muhammadu Buhari. Why? Because they see government as a continuum. It's a continuation. So for us, the service chief should be relieved because they lack the competence and the capacity. Even if, the Chief of Army Staff was appointed just recently, we don't see him as an individual. We see his office as an institution, and he needs to take the both ends on his table as far as the military coordination is concerned, and he has not coordinated them well. So we think there is need for all the service chiefs to be relieved of their duties. We thank them for the service they have rendered to Nigeria, but their best is not good enough. They need to give way for more fresh young people, for more people with capacity to come on board and pilot the affairs of securing our borders, securing our internal our territories, so that businesses can trade. Today, as I speak with you, farmers are no longer going to their farm. I have, during this course of our consultation, that in Katsina, people are, signing pact with Andy before they could go to their farms. This is unacceptable. This is not a country that we desire for our children. This is not a country that we want to see, our children's children comes to inherit. We have the right to live this life. We have the right to livelihood as citizens. Our life, our livelihood is being snatched away from us, and government seems to be doing nothing about it. It's unacceptable.
We understand your plight, and we understand how painful it is, especially when the points you've mentioned, that if there was a state of emergency called in River State, then what's happening to the north, where we keep hearing of scores of people who have been killed either week in, week out, and yet there's no single state of emergency being called for. But we do understand, and we do hope that many who have lost their loved ones will be able to find some form of succor and also comfort. I want to say thank you for joining us at this point, and we'll look forward to speak with you again. Hopefully, you'd get a response from the federal government as well. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. Right.
I think it's high time we move to another story this time. Very sad conversations if we continue to look into that story concerning the North and the incessant killings that's continued regardless of the security architecture that's been put in place. But hopefully, many have said maybe the state police will indeed solve the situation, or maybe it will not. But only time will tell, which happens to be one of the most popular phrases being used by news and journalists around the world. Binga, what we going
to? Let's get to the story. We touched on it during our wake-up conversations this morning. It's now time for us to take an in-depth look at it. The 2023 Lagos governorship candidate of the Labour Party, Rhodes-Vivour, has accused the police of stopping his planned declaration to formally join the African Democratic Congress, ADC. Rhodes-Vivour said the event, scheduled to be held at a field in Alimosho, was barricaded by a heavy police presence despite prior notification to security agencies.
According to him, police authorities in the state were duly notified and due process was followed. But on arrival at the venue, the entire place was occupied by armed officers, he said. He added that efforts to meet with the Lagos State Police Commissioner was unsuccessful. Rhodes-Vivour alleged the move was politically motivated, describing it as an attempt to silence the opposition, but however, insisted that his declaration to move into the ADC will still go ahead. Joining us to tell us more on what transpired is the organizing secretary of the ADC Lagos chapter, Dr. Mohammed Ogidi. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Madam, thank you for having me on your studio.
All right. Dr. Ogidi, can you please share with us what happened over the course of the weekend, what you experienced?
Actually, this program was planned almost 2 weeks ago, and all the law enforcement agents were duly informed, including police. 3 days to the program, the first venue that we arranged to do the declaration was condoned off by the police. We made effort to get across to the police commissioner to give reason why the stadium was condoned off with law enforcement agents. As usual, what we were told was that the instruction was from above. We also decided to get another venue. On the same day, the same venue was also condoned off. And all the attempts to get it done peacefully was prevented. The program actually took place in Alimosho because we believe in peace and we don't believe in violence. We made another arrangement somewhere within Alimosho and we were able to carry out the program. But unfortunately, attempts to get everything done peacefully was met with violence. But ADC being a well-disciplined party, Alimosho is also our base, knowing the fact that our national secretary is from that local government, which should have involved our people on ground to counter their disruption. But what did we do? We decided to take the case to the backyard of the law enforcement agent. But we thank God, the casualty was not much. Most of our members were wounded. Some are still in the hospital. Most of our vehicles were blocked and damaged. But ADC, as a party full of technocrats, refused to go by them. We refused to allow them to signify or give us a bad name. We know what happened in Kaduna. El-Fai and others are on the police list. But we learned our lesson from there. That will not happen in Lagos. Lagos State is a center of excellence. The ADC in Nigeria is ADC of a good political party that everybody is expected to join within the next few months. And we are mobilizing to that effect. This is not the first time ADC campaign will be truncated. But all effort will be made to ensure that we do not allow them to disrupt the peaceful atmosphere of the state. It will not be allowed. We won't allow it to happen. We can always make sure that whatever we want to do is in consonance with the law of the state. But we have our fundamental human right too, which was denied on Saturday. Our fundamental human right was denied. We have right to peaceful society, peaceful meeting, peaceful arrangement. This wasn't a campaign. It was not a campaign. We are only welcoming members into the party. We are only welcoming members to the party to ensure that the party grows in order to be able to deliver Lagosians and Nigerians from the ruthless government that we have in the country now. Insecurity is everywhere. Insecurity here, insecurity there. And that's why we said it is time for Nigerians to develop a system that will allow even ordinary streets to be able to have a peaceful arrangement to live together. APC, PDP, we are all Nigerians. This is not, it is where we are today that insecurity becomes an issue that everybody doesn't know is the first parameter to determine what type of government we have. We are on ground, but we will never allow our lives, the lives of the masses, to be endangered. If not, what happened on Saturday, by today we will have been bloodshed. But what did we do? We used our system to prevent it. ADC is a party that everybody will join come 2027. ADC is a party that will not allow thugs to rule or govern in any state, not only in Lagos State. Thanks to my able chairman, who was able to come up with an idea of getting this thing done within Alimosha without that much noise. And thank God, Badebo is with us now. He knows what a party looks like now. He's a member of the party, and we will not encourage it. The lives of people must be protected by all means, not by thuggery, not by causing problem here and there. It's not by just making we are a party. Party for what? So what happened on Saturday? We have written our report to the national, and the national is taking it up, and we are going to make sure that the necessary people or those that cause it are put to order. That's it, my brother.
Now, Dr. Ogidi, what do you make of the response from the police authorities following Saturday's incident, saying express permission wasn't sought, and they were there to protect lives and property? What's your response to the police authorities?
Alimosha is our base too. It's the base of our national secretary. He actually told us to make it a peaceful one. He has his people, he has his members there. It's not the base is not APC ground. It's not only for APC. We have other political parties there. But ADC,
the Nigerian police
will
force
not allow
on
that
Saturday.
to happen. It will not happen.
Dr.
We will not create problem for the masses.
Hello, sir. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
We are expecting to make economic life good for them. We are not supposed to disturb the economic life of our people. We are not supposed to disrupt the peaceful atmosphere of the masses because we want to be there. We are trying to prevent other parties from making their name or their making everything peaceful for us. So in ADC, the chairman of the party, Engineer George, made it a compulsory and informed all members of the party not to be involved in any riot or counter the incursion of those so-called people that made the occasion very that gave the occasion a bad name. It won't happen. In Lagos State, ADC is well coordinated, well organized. ADC is a party everybody will join. ADC is a party that takes cognizance of the life of the people, lives of the members, lives of the Lagosians. For blocking, it's not even a campaign. We are not organized. It's just for people to know that Badebo is now a member of ADC. Not a campaign, just a meeting, just to show that everybody is in the party to deliver Lagos. The other ones, we did one of the PDP about 3 weeks ago. No violence, because they believe Badebo is a good candidate. It's a candidate to be reckoned with, and all what they do is just to prevent him from coming to the party. But good to him, we team up and we prevented the crisis from degenerating to what would not like. So we are all in touch. The national is taking it up. The necessary law enforcement agencies will be informed too.
Okay.
Because before the program, we actually made the DSS aware of our program. We told everybody. We informed all the agencies. We informed them that on Saturday there will be a program at Alimosho, and we carried almost everybody along. But surprisingly, police came in. They were there when those people came up, demolishing, destroying our properties, wounding our members. I mean, it's very, very outrageous. This is a condemnable act. But what do we blame?
Well, of course,
the government.
The police
haven't informed the law agencies that such a program will take place. It is the duty of the law enforcement to prevent it from coming up to that level. But what did they do? They abandoned the whole thing for the government to just be there for nothing, not to protect the life of the citizen.
All right, sir. Thank Dr. Gidi. Thank you so much for shedding more light on what happened over the weekend. Like you said, we've gotten some of your remarks that this will be taken up on the national level, and most importantly, you're also ensuring that you've written to the security operatives. We do hope to hear from the police, and also look forward to hear from you again and the ADC, especially from at the national level, rather. Thanks for your time. That was the African Democratic Congress ADC Lagos chapter secretary who just spoke with us. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the breakfast headlines coming up shortly, after which we do have the front pages of the newspapers as well. This is Breakfast Central. Stay with us.
Hello, welcome to Breakfast Headlines. I am Benga Aboroa. The federal government has appealed to NUPENG to shelve its planned nationwide strike, with the Minister of Labour, Mohammed Dinyadi, calling for conciliation, meeting on Monday to resolve the dispute with the Dangote Group. The strike set to begin today, September the 8th, is over allegations that Dangote is barring CNG tanker drivers from joining labor unions, a move NUPENG describes as anti-worker and unconstitutional, while rival truck drivers on the DTCDA have rejected the strike. NUPENG insists it will proceed, backed by the Nigerian Labour Congress and human rights lawyer Femi Falana, who says Dangote's policy violates multiple national and international labour laws. Earlier, the General Secretary of NUPENG, Afolabi Olawale, joined us on the news for insights on this development.
He couldn't win the presidency of NATO. Now they are hell-bent on destroying it for selfish reasons. Kanawa cannot come out to deny this fact. Ask Kanawa where he had worked before. He should give you his biodata. And when was the election held of this DTCDA? And when was that association formed? And keep that aside. Employers do not form unions or associations for workers. It's an aberration. So these are agents of the management to destabilize the union because of their ulterior motive. You can't enslave Nigerian workers. We are past the stage of slavery. Come on, what will it take to allow the workers to have voice?
In the same vein, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, has announced a 3-day suspension of fuel supply starting Tuesday, September the 9th. The association says the move is aimed at challenging monopolistic practices in the downstream sector and demanding fair competition. National President Billy Gillis Harry assured that the shutdown will be lawful and peaceful while urging the government to intervene. Petron also warned that Dangote refinery's dominance threatens private operators and could lead to widespread job losses. A total lunar eclipse was visible on Sunday across Nigeria, all the African countries, Europe, Asia, and Australia. Scientists explain that this occurs when the sun, earth, and moon align perfectly, casting the Earth's shadow over the lunar surface. The moon turns a reddish color during the eclipse, earning the nickname blood moon. This effect is caused by sunlight bending through the Earth's atmosphere. NASA confirmed this as a safe event to watch with the naked eyes, unlike solar eclipses. In Nigeria, the best viewing spots were remote areas like Yobe and Borno with low light pollution. A 10 billion naira defamation suit has been filed against the Oduduwa Transparency Network at a federal high court in Abuja over allegations of defamation and spreading false information against the former group chief executive officer of the NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari. The group had claimed that Kyari diverted about $2.8 million earmarked for the turnaround maintenance of the NNPC Limited to private investment in cement production with the aid of oil company, the MSM Group. And that's all on the news at this hour. Breakfast Central continues shortly. I am Benga Aboroa. There's a strange theater that's playing out at the presidential wing of the Abuja Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport in Abuja. Each time the president departs or returns, ministers, governors, and political courtiers line up like school children to wave, clap, and grin and shuffle for camera angles, as though their highest duty is to escort one man to and from a plane. Let's be clear, this is not governance, it's feudal pageantry dressed as protocol. While hospitals lack beds, schools lack teachers, refineries still don't refine, our leaders abandon duty to stage manage a send-off. It also costs money. Billions of naira vanish yearly on travel entourages and others. In 2024 alone, over 23 billion naira was spent on international trips from the presidency. So what sense does it make that the entire cabinet are sitting and idling away at the runway? The culture is not harmless. It teaches sycophancy. It signals to every director and aide that what matters is not competence, but proximity to power. That if you want to rise, you must clap the loudest as the jet takes off. Nigeria is not a monarchy. We don't need courtiers at the runway. We need public servants at their desks, budgets that fund citizens, not ceremonies, and a presidency that models the discipline it demands. If respect for the president is the excuse, let's redefine respect. Respect is fixing power so SMEs don't bleed to diesel. Respect is paying teachers on time. Respect is making highways safe enough for families to travel at dusk. Respect is competence delivered daily, not staged nightly under floodlights. So I ask, which way, Nigeria? Will we keep rehearsing this tired airport theater, or will we finally demand leaders who wave goodbye to waste and say welcome home to real governance? Good morning, Nigerians.
On that note, we welcome you back to the papers. Yes.
Okay, it's both ways. Welcome and goodbye.
Yes.
And I saw President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa return once from a foreign trip. There was just one Air Force officer and a few, maybe 3 people around. We really don't.
Let me welcome to our guest who's here with us.
You're welcome, Mr.
Welcome, Mr. This is a situation we want to discuss. So anyway, joining us for the front pages is international journalists of repute.
Mr. Abibaruna.
Yes, Mr. Abibaruna. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Good morning. Yes. I mean, you've been in close quarters. You've walked in the corridors of power. Could you explain this protocol? Does it happen at state level too? Do the cabinet, members of the cabinet, are they expected to go
state
to the
assembly
tarmac?
By the way, I must commend the message and the delivery. That was perfect delivery. The message was apt, succinct, and very instructive. I've worked with the governor in Lagos State, not Edo, Osun, Ekiti. In Lagos State, Lagos State governor, Governor Akinwumi Ambode. A decent man, first class administrator. And we can see what he did when he was there. Can see the achievements. Governor Ambode will not allow this kind of thing, inanity, this kind of unceremonious demonstrations that you are saying. He will not take it. And the governor does not even allow his ADC to stand at his back. When I look at the ADC standing there, if you look at public officials now, there's always someone at the back.
Even their wives.
Even their wives. So I want to wonder, is he part of our colonial relics or something that somebody must be at the back?
It's guarding.
Because when you watch world leaders, most powerful leaders in the world, but even monarchies, King of Morocco, nobody, who's anybody at the back?
You're right.
What is wrong with us? So when that thing happened last week,
we saw governor of Imo State, Lagos State.
The president just came back
Finance
6 days before then. And these people were in Abuja at the airport. It doesn't mean that, because to me, governance is a very big thing. It's a big thing. They don't take this thing serious.
And some of these ministers are superintending very serious ministries.
And why should
the governors
and why should the president allow it?
And sometimes they actually meet abroad. After waving goodbye, they will now meet
they will still go abroad and welcome me. They will wave goodbye at the airport. Curiously, incidentally, and sadly, they will still be at the airport welcoming the president.
And this cost money.
Are we okay?
Okay, while we are waving president...
I would like you to please send me that your message. I want it.
While we are waving president and that's being criticized, Nigerians are complaining about the state of the economy. The front page of the Daily Trust says, schools resume amid biting economy. Parents are going to be paying school fees. It's a very interesting time to be a parent and to even have children. We also have here how Boko Haram killed 63 in Borno. This is a tale told by the survivors. Workers to federal government, 70,000 naira minimum wage insufficient. Fuel scarcity looms as tanker drivers begin strike today. Well, they may or may not go on strike depending on the outcome of the meeting between NUPENG and Dangote, the government, as well as IPMAN and all the other stakeholders who will be in the meeting at 11 a.m. today. Federal government threatens X over anti-Tinubu post. Showore vows resistance. We also have gunmen killed 23 in Katsina, Kaduna, Plateau, Kwara, Niger. Look at
And there's also workers to federal government, 70,000 naira minimum wage, insufficient. Okay.
So all the stories there, not one good news.
There's good news. Daily Trust Board of Economics lists strategies to combat poverty. That's if they listen to those strategies, then it might be good news. At least it's solution driven. Which one of this?
If you guys have been more than casual in looking at these things, they have been gale of bad news.
Yeah.
Every time I come to this your studio to look at the dailies and the front pages, you are bound to see bad news. Major. Most of the stories are bad news, and it's unfortunate. Look at this NUPENG and Dangote fight. Rich, that means to ball to a major fuel scarcity. Look at the debt recorded in Borno and some other parts of the north yesterday. That was rightly identified by the lawyer stroke broadcaster here. Then look at the state of the economy and the school children that are resuming today. These are the major stories that we should be looking at. Are they resuming to a better future? Do we have enough infrastructure for them when they resume? Do we have security? Can the student in Borno, in Zamfara, in Katsina resume the way the one in the southwest and particularly Lagos are resuming? That are the issues that we as journalists should bring on the table and tell our leaders to look at. Rather than going to the airport and wave him goodbye. Ceaseless goodbye to our president. So, to me, in journalism, when it bleeds, it leads. We have the current problem of these insecurity things. And I'm happy that one of the daily that I look at every morning is daily trust. Daily trust is becoming increasingly critical of the government. I have to tell my friends who are the government supporters, if government have their own facts, put it on the table. Not just, for example, we are writing Twitter now about the post that Shore did against the president. These guys operate on a different level. Democracy. They're not comfortable with it.
Yes, the United States president is caricature.
You go to court.
Yes.
No, we should said I will not remove it. As wrote Shore, yes, they said they are looking at it. The legal department. How do you say you guys should remove it? Remove what? They are not comfortable with it. Get him arrested. Take him to court. It's as simple as that. The man is expressing his views on what is going on in the country. But people are not happy. And Shore had a platform and a name. So we have to be careful.
But the manner in which he's expressing his...
No, that is the opinion.
It's defamation.
Shore, you see, let me tell you something. Shore, people like Shore, people like Peter Obi, they are very important. They are ingredients that nurture democracy. You can't silence it. It's my personal friend.
We're not saying silence.
You cannot say you should not talk.
But looking at the number of followership they have,
that is his own opinion. If you're not comfortable with it, you go to court.
Saying the president is a criminal. Can you prove it?
I can't sit that kind of a thing.
Yes.
I measure my statement before I say it, but Shore is...
So shouldn't he be more measured?
He should, but since he has done it and say you're not removing it, you take him to court. Let the court, before I say on it, so there are processes in democracy, not just drastic act, you remove it.
All right.
And I said no.
Let's now mention to our audience, if you'd like to call in and let us know what you think about these stories. Your opinion counts here on Breakfast Central. The numbers to call are on your TV screen. Please be a part of the show and be our virtual analyst. Let's now share what the Daily Independent has, or the Guardian, actually. Let's go to the Guardian. The Guardian is a very busy paper this morning. National Grid faces 5.6 trillion naira revenue loss as premium customers exits.
Where did they go?
Where did they go to? You don't mean it.
They are doing solar.
Okay. Mayhem as thugs invade rally for Obi Rhodes-Vivour in Lagos. Why have they added Obi to this mix? Obi did not say he's leaving Labour Party yet.
He
did not.
No. Obi was supposed to be there.
But it's not his.
Atiku was to be there, but he did not come. And you see, I identified with APC. People know where I belong to. They equally know that I detest in strong terms when the ruling party is trying to muzzle the opposition. I think the constitution allows people to associate freely. These people said notify the police, which is not compulsory. We don't want to take approval from the police. It's supposed to notify them. We are having a meeting where Rhodes-Vivour will decamp to ADC. The police should have, in a democracy, constitutionalism, they're supposed to allow them and protect them. But they were not allowed. They, according to them, they organized 3 venues. The first one, they were not allowed. The second one, thugs went there They invaded the place. And the third one, they're able to do it very fast.
Very smart thinking.
Smart guys. So I don't think it's good for us. You see, any government in power has a tenure. You will go. Anything can happen in the next election. So that citizens should always demand the right. If you don't demand your right, that is why they say vigilance. Vigilance is all the price to pay for liberty. Must be vigilant because it's very easy for people in power to trample on your rights.
So what kind of remedy do we get in this scenario where the police has been accused? And in the past week, this is not the first time the police has been accused. With the one that happened in Kaduna, Nasir El-Rufai also accused the police of being complicit. So if the police has been accused and a finger has been pointed at them as being part of those who are encouraging the attack, how then will the citizens get justice? Because is the police expected to investigate it?
That's why I said people like Showore should be appreciated and applauded. Showore has been campaigning that this IG is illegal. That his tenure was extended for obvious reasons. To perpetrate and consummate an agenda of some people, you know, and that is what is playing out. The police is not impartial, and the police should be impartial. The police normally should be impartial, but when the government in power is interested in the tenure of the IG, like you now know that the IG was retained, the tenure was extended to do some things, and that is what we are saying. So I think citizens should resist it. Civil society should resist it. The space should be free for everybody to express themselves.
But the police never accept responsibility. They release
no, they should.
gaslighting Nigerians.
That is what we are doing.
Denying
the
and
media is
very
part of
defensive.
Media is part of the war, part of the segments of democracy. And that's the role we are playing this morning. And we are putting the focus on the police to come and explain to Nigerians and to Lagosians why certain people were denied freedom to express themselves.
And for the Nigerian police to act, is it necessary? If I'm having a private party in my house, and those invade, do I need prior notification? Do I need to inform the DPO of my area?
That is a private party. That is a private party. This one is association of politicians meeting in a certain place.
But regardless
of... imagine that they did not tell the police.
Yes.
Shouldn't the police swing into action to protect them? Is that not the police's responsibility?
That is society. That is the normal decent society. But ours is not.
What does this mean for 2027? Because we're starting to see
the signs.
A rise from 2023. Now it's rising. It's becoming even... It's becoming worse.
That for an ordinary thing, not even campaign, as something as simple as decamping.
So when you go to campaign in that area, what will happen?
It's not good enough. You see, when you go to advanced democracies, the police is not responsible to the man in power. It's not. The police is dependent on the executive. Even UK that have problems with government, the police is responsible to the parliament, not to one individual, not a part of government. But in Nigeria, the IG is appointed by the president. So, invariably, the IG is accountable to the president and not the National Assembly on all the people. That's the problem you have. Because the IG knows that if he messed up, it can easily be removed. So we are in a very at the crossroad there. I need to guard it very generously. But democracy is not a destination, it's a journey. But at the same time, people in the police force, they should do more to protect the people, not protect individuals. In other words, they should do more to protect the institutions, not the individual. But we have a long way to go.
We do have a long way
to go. It is enterprise.
Okay, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, we have here, prominent Nigerians push for electoral reforms ahead of 2027 polls. Insecurity, northern leaders demand state of emergency, sack of service chiefs. Army neutralizes fourth terrorist, arrests 64 suspects in nationwide operations. Parents groan as schools resume. Imo outlaws some practices. And at the top, Dangote NUPENG face-off. Federal government urges caution. Showore CSO's pushback as DSS asks X to delete anti-Tinubu tweet. Customs exempts $300 parcels from tax as cargo owners decry duty payments disruptions. You can see here there's a picture, invoice settlement, power sector subsidies overview. Federal government's total subsidy liability stand at 5.6 trillion naira as of August 2025. And you can see that in 2025 alone, Jigawa, Zamfara, Lagos, Delta, and Katsina already signed renewable energy deals, while the federal government plans to remove its agencies from the grid, leaving the national grid with households without capacity for solar or businesses without gas-fired plants. So there's so much breakdown there. But away from electricity, I want us to talk about this as quickly as possible. School resuming today for parents, because 70% of the people on this table are parents. Some are still paying school fees, some are not paying school fees. I know that some people are right now, their heart is cutting as school has resumed. Imo State has outlawed certain practices. I went to look for them.
Like most states too.
Yes, that they have prohibited schools from demanding pupils and students to submit items such as shovels, hoes, cutlasses, rakes, brooms, mopping sticks, buckets, hypos, detergents, bottles of Dettol, soap of all kinds, toilet paper, A4 paper, or pay unauthorized levies before being admitted or allowed to sit for examinations across all 27 local government areas of the state. So this was happening before.
Yes.
Many things are happening in those states, yes, in the government schools.
And even some private schools.
So the state has a duty.
All sorts of levies.
They have a duty to make sure they control these things. And don't forget that any government that don't lay premium on public schools, they cannot be good on development. So not private schools, public schools, it's very, very key for government to be much more involved.
Because that's where majority of Nigerians can afford.
To make sure that our students, our pupils are well educated, to give them security. That's what is happening in Lagos and some other states in the southwest. I don't know about where I come from or the north. In these states, there are security agencies are involved in making sure that these students are protected. That's why we hardly see any news of a report of kidnapping in these schools nowadays. There are security agencies placed in many strategic points in these states to make sure they are protected. At the same time, Nigeria we have the resources, to make education free in both secondary and primary. The money they are wasting now, but the money they are wasting all over the place.
Even if tuition is free, don't be exposed. Don't tell them to
they should be giving them even one meal per day. We can afford it, but it's a misplaced priority. What we are seeing, we must encourage our pupils to be well educated and be well fed.
And just to mention,
have a better future.
The Imo State has even gone a step further to protect parents and guardians. They said, let Nigerians and Imo parents, guardians, and stakeholders breathe. If you see anything going wrong at any primary or secondary school in Imo State, you must report it via text to 0707 659 3298. The commissioner advice, and I'll take that number again, 0707 659 3298. So this is for parents and guardians in Imo State. I wish all states would employ this.
These are good news coming from Imo.
I love it.
Despite the fact that the man is always at the tarmac in Abuja, we will go back to our president. The man recently increased workers in Imo. And what we are doing now is a proactive measure.
You know that increasing of wages for workers in Imo State was another thing that it generated controversy, because they are saying that it's not by increasing. Are you going to actually pay?
No, but they have done that. You have said it. So it's for us to hold him to his words and make sure that really paid. It's a good sign.
All right.
And it should be applauded. Even this one now, it's a project measure.
We have a call from. Let's take this call from.
It's better than that news we are hearing of them.
Up and down.
Okay. We have a call from Engineer Aminu from Borno State. Good morning to you, sir. Hello, good morning. Oh, sorry, lost that.
It would have been good to hear from him, from all the way from Borno State, to hear if he had a report or feedback on what happened.
There's one thing for governments to issue directives. It's another thing for compliance. Exactly, to follow up. So I hope the Imo State authorities would make sure they have on-the-spot inspection.
Correct.
And have agents go around all the schools, because people have ways of defying orders, especially
zones.
Just by making that order, you've stopped some people from chopping.
Exactly.
Some people will take those hypo, sorry for mentioning the brand, the bleach and the cutlasses and go sell it. Because how many grasses are they cutting? And that's another conversation for us.
It's really another conversation.
Should the students actually be, they say it's part of discipline.
They're
the ones cutting
the story on the front page of almost all the papers. This NUPENG and Dangote.
Yes, so let's talk about that.
Yes, I think I think it's important to talk about it because the NUPENG is a very powerful association, workers union. You know, that's the junior workers in the oil industry. That is NUPENG. Senior workers is PENGASI. But NUPENG is more powerful because they're the one that goes around to distribute and make sure that we buy something to buy at our filling stations. What they are saying is that they are accusing Dangote refinery of treating workers poorly, of not allowing the union to flourish, of not
being anti-union.
Yes, of promoting anti-union agenda and not pay them well. They even put it down the figures that Dangote workers are poorly paid. You know, and they've given them enough sign, written to them, ultimatum, they're not abiding.
I mean, that's quite shocking.
So that is why they now threaten strike.
The richest black man.
They want to start today, but the FG yesterday intervened, and they are saying that even if the meeting, but they can't disobey the federal government directive. Even if the meeting is holding, they are hell bent in going on strike.
One major issue that they have, or complaints that they have, is the fact that Dangote or they allege that Dangote is trying to stifle unionism, such that the newly hired tanker drivers for the CNG that will be imported, that they will force them not to sign an undertaking that they will not be part of NUPENG, that instead they will be a part of a union that Dangote is creating. And then the argument is now, is this constitutional? That you as the employer want to force them to be a part of your own union, but you ask them for being a part of a union outside?
They're created.
Yes.
I think the FG will intervene and I caution the Dangote people from that's why I was saying this while, you know, if you allow this man to control the oil industry, the monopoly will be difficult to control. That's what we are saying. You know, and I think FG will caution them to do the right thing. Because if NUPENG goes on strike, all of us will suffer.
We've not had fuel scharsity in such a long time. You know, we've gotten used to this rhythm where you need to buy fuel, you just drive in. It's been long. Last year, 2 years ago, chaotic. We had fuel scarcity for months, not one of 2-3 days, like 1 month, 2 months.
You cannot steal full unionism. It's not allowed. Allow them to function.
So how do we then find that middle ground?
Negotiate with them. Well, FG will intervene. That's not government. Government will cut down to order. You know, that will be a middle ground. But what is very important is that the upshot is that workers in Dangote should be allowed to unionize freely. But then the control from the board.
Well, they talked about the DCTDA, which is a creation of Dangote Refinery and its promoters, Aliko Dangote and Sayu Dantata. They say they're basically trying to prevent 10,000 imported CNG trucks from joining the union. But let's take another call.
Hello, good morning. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead. All right, please go ahead, Uche.
Hello. The issue of pocket, what has happened in Lagos last weekend? It's a pity. This is 2025. I don't know what will happen in 2027 if it's being allowed that Bogri, the main political party is using pocket in everywhere they go. It will be a difficult thing to, have election in 2027. In Abuja, the minister passed out what do you call them, beggars in Abuja. He didn't do away with Bogri or Tom in Abuja. We have seen what has happened in Abuja 1 time ago, but this 2 weeks ago, or still last week, when a couple and a family just died because of what? Tom. Please, we should do something regards to something in our election. Otherwise, I don't know what will be the outcome of 2027 during the general election. God bless you, people.
God bless you too. Thank you, Uche, for calling. So he's expressing concern that if this can happen in Lagos in 2025.
Uche is a caller and very consistent.
Yeah.
In making his position known that there is no any independent, transparent, credible process. You can have a good, credible elections. He's been saying even on radio, Uche, it's Uche. So I think the onus is now on the players in the political space to to ensure that we have a viable process that is credible and transparent to all of us now saying we have a democracy. Because if, as he's saying, Rhodes-Vivour and his people are saying that we were harassed by the police and thugs, the police should come out and tell us what happened. By keeping quiet, it means that is what happened. That is exactly what took place on Saturday at the weekend. Because people should be allowed to freely associate and pursue their political ambitions without fear or favor by the authority.
Okay, so we're still talking about, I mean, we're waiting for feedback from the meeting. Dangote and NUPENG will be meeting with the federal government this morning, and we hope that there'll be a peaceful resolution and all parties feel properly satisfied, because when the two elephants fight, the grass, which is the Nigerian citizens, will be the one to suffer the effect. But I want to do a connection from a headline on the Daily Trust, and then we'll come to the Guardian. Let's go back to the Daily Trust. If you look at the top left corner, gunmen kill 23 in Katsina, Kaduna, Plateau, Kwara, Niger. Then if you look at the bottom, you can see how Boko Haram killed 63 in Borno. This is a tale told by the survivors. Let's now go to the Guardian. Then if you look at the bottom left of the Guardian, you will see there, insecurity. Northern leaders demand state of emergency and sack of service chiefs. Do you believe, I mean, with all these stories, every day, there's a story of one killing in northern Nigeria or several killings. I don't even believe that we report as many of the killings that actually happen as, you know, there's a sense that it happens even more frequently. And Nigerians are low-key becoming desensitized to it. Do you think that the sack of the service chiefs and the declaration of state of emergency in the north is the right way to go?
Let's do the scenario. Imagine that these killings are taking place in Lagos or Ibadan, southwest. But don't imagine. It never happen. When kidnappings were taking place in southwest, the government was shaking and they got involved. So if, as I normally argue, who feels it knows it. These guys are feeling the pain in the north. They are saying that these killings, they are becoming a normal routine. They are saying it every day. And some people are feeding fat, in quote, on it. And I have begun to even look at that thing again and say, is it a racket? And these guys feeding fat, but people are dying.
Yes.
The northern leaders they know many things that we don't know. Yes, they are saying it. The president is on vacation. There is now involved in managing this crisis. People are dying. So if people are saying that you should start discouraging chiefs, they have a point. And if they are saying you won't sack them, then come and tell us what we are doing to avert further killings. You know, that's what is going on. So I don't blame people that are saying that the military chiefs should be called to order, should be called to question, should be sacked. They have enough reason for saying so because people are dying in their region.
Now, Mr. Abibaruno, they say the Senate is doing the same thing over and over again. We've seen the cycle of violence, condemnation, and then a condolence visit to the area. And then there's a lull in insecurity for a while before the next big insecurity event. And then it's rinse and repeat. But now we've seen the president wants to, you know, rejig the architecture, the security architecture in Nigeria by suggesting the adoption of state policing. Previous governments they've been very skeptical about it. And some are saying, look, why are you doing this now? Do you want to use the state policing as a militia? Why don't we improve on the current model we have? What's your take on state policing? Is it the panacea to insecurity in Nigeria?
The fine question. And your remarks are fantastic. I am a firm believer of state police. Because Nigeria is a federal state. The federal structure must have residual powers with the state government. And state government should be able to police their different area. You know. And people are saying that we are not ripe. We are not ripe. When are we going to be ripe?
I mean,
when are we going to be ready for it?
The incident that happened on Saturday with Rhodes-Vivour said the Deputy Commissioner of Police was almost acting like a gate man, you know, ushering in the thugs into the venue. And that's a federal structure. So imagine a state police.
State police.
These are some of the fears of
that is not enough reason why there should not be state police. A state police that is being worked out. The law will be, there'll be many things. There'll be a legal framework. explicit legal framework that cipher the functions of state police and how they can be used. And how it can be used. If you use it to punish political opponents, it will be there.
We have things on paper, and
you cannot say because they will misuse it, then it will not be used. I don't think so. That is not tenable to me. What is tenable to me is that law and order should prevail above other things. That is the main thing.
Who finances the state police?
Pardon? I beg your pardon. If you look at, you see, that question is simplistic. If you look at the various state governments in Nigeria, they are the one following the police. When my guy was here, Governor Modi, he was doing everything for the police. 80% of the thing paid for by the state government. Even to tomorrow.
All right, we have a call. We have a call.
So
let's
the state government has been paid for
Fire
it.
also. Fire from Lagos. Oh, we lost that.
So the state government has been paying for it. So it's not new. My only worry is that he's going to be abused. And that's why I said there must be a legal framework defining the functions of state police.
There's a legal framework.
And the legal framework is of
the Nigerian police, but they run foul of it all the time.
Must be involved. Judiciary must be involved. If you run foul to it, they go to court. Come to give judgment. See, we must be ready to run the country. Then we are ready or we are not. If you give ourselves to this argument, this flimsy argument.
Have you seen the behavior of Akune Chamber? The way they were flogging youth copper in Anambra State?
No, but they're taking action on it. Okay. No, we should not. We should get against all these things. Yes, you get against these things. There's no way.
Will state police be able to stop the insurgency in the north or a state of emergency?
It's part of it. It's part of it. It's part of the measures.
Let's go back to last weekend's incident in Lagos. The command, there's video evidence of this. They said all the allegations by Rhodes-Vivour and the ADC are false and unsubstantiated. You said you talked about the Police Act, and there's an act governing the behavior of the Nigerian police, but they run foul of it. Who would hold them accountable?
No, we don't take this from granted. When I was in government, something happened in Lagos then. Bado. They call it Bado. God bless you. With God. Anytime Bado keep people, anytime people died, it will be on the front page. And my God will be worried. Yes.
Rightly so.
No, you'll be worried. What is going on again? What is the problem again? He became so worried that when we went to commission the new building of Access Bank in Ekpe, he made it an issue. And now the story. He said, I must speak on it today. Anything you guys are saying, anything you are carrying on paper, people in government are watching, they are listening. I'm telling you, as someone that was involved.
How come the Nigerian police has
They are involved. I'm sure. Let me tell you something. Get it right now. Behind the curtain. The governor of this state will have called the CP. What is going on here? We can do manage it.
It's very embarrassing.
No. Just send you. So police are trying to do it. They do it on their own. They're sacrifice.
So who then checks the police?
That's what I'm telling you directly now. I'm telling you directly, implicitly, that the government involved, the various government are also sensitive to this bad news. So that is why the media is very powerful. The media control these things. And with the addition of the social media, these guys are involved. And because Rhodes-Vivour and his people, they have the video.
The videos are all over social media.
So these are the things that you cannot escape. Even the police commissioner will also be worried. Then the public space is being flogged, it's being tongue-lashed. So all this is don't. I'm telling you, they are worried. On Monday morning, you're going to summon me. Come to my office. What is this? What is this? So they know. They know.
Well, the truth is, Nigerians don't really want. The worry is not the issue. The thing is the action.
Exactly. No, when the government intervene, next time the police will be more careful, more circumspect.
This happened in Kaduna. Do you know what we're seeing in social media? They're saying that what happened in Kaduna was them testing the waters, and after testing the waters, they saw that nothing came out of it. They're able to do it.
The opposition overdo it. How? Yes. No. Because no government will watch when there's a break of law and order.
So what's
Nobody's breaking that?
No. You are only listening to one of the story.
It's a meeting.
It's a meeting, but you know what transpired? Do you know what happened at that vicinity? No, the governor or the president, they have a duty to make sure there is law and order. And once you trample on it,
so what can be trampling of law and order? If I say that today I want to call a meeting, I'm formerly in Labour Party, I want to announce that I'm moving from Labour Party to ADC, I welcome my people, I'm doing health checks for the community. You know, what can possibly go wrong?
No, don't talk like that. We are talking like that because we are not involved. I will not tolerate anybody trampling on other people's rights and liberties.
Again,
but at the same time,
inside church.
At the same time, people that this man was in Ogodi on Saturday, on Sunday, every fine. What happened? You spoke freely.
Exactly. So what kind of rights have been trampled upon in the church?
To now investigate, let the police tell us.
Can the police investigate itself and be expected to do a thorough job?
Don't forget
that. The police has already said.
Don't forget that. I think we're directing the questions to Mr. like he's a police spokesperson.
I wonder, please. I'm only saying that we should object to.
Yes, we get your point.
If you don't look at one side. When Rufai was governor of Kaduna State, we dare not know the meeting against him. This same Rufai making noise. We dare not. I'm saying it on record.
Yes.
So
we will decimate you.
So the
fact that is not exactly what happened.
But the fact that he did it then does not necessarily mean, and because he didn't check him then does not mean that we shouldn't check people now.
No,
people are more awake.
For the fact that the area boys were not checked in 2023.
But let's be objective.
Doesn't mean that
and not a single arrest has been. Who is going to pay for those
the
hospital
speakers,
bills, the
everything
speakers,
that was
the coastal buses that
you go to court, they seek damages. No.
He said he doesn't believe in the court.
That is the right thing to do.
Well,
that is right to do.
I think our time has come where we need to wrap up the show. Very interesting conversations on the front pages of the newspapers. It's so fast. I wonder how time runs.
I really wish management can increase break.
Stop
there. 7 hours.
We are, as for us, we're out of the studio, but Mr. Abibaruno, it's always a delight to have you. The conversations we've had this morning, the bulk of them have been really heavy conversations, but we can't shy away from them because this is the reality of what's happening in the country. And as journalists, our responsibility is to bring the information to you. And we hope that we can continue to hold the stakeholders in these different industries to account and, hold them responsible. But we do not end the conversation here. We'll continue on YouTube. Jasiri comes up next. We will be back again tomorrow, where you can catch up with the earlier interviews that you may have missed. We're streaming live on News Central, and we're posting our interviews there. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great Monday.
Bye.
Bye.